Hi, I'm Tammy.
I'm Lisi.
We are the Nutrition Twins, registered dietitians and personal trainers.
And today we are talking about the best daily routine to lose weight for good. And as registered dietitians and personal trainers, we have to tell you that the great thing about this daily routine that helps you to lose weight for good is that not only are the habits that we're sharing science-backed, but you don't have to follow this routine to a T. You can just apply some of these habits that we're sharing to your lifestyle. And so what we found is that with a lot of these habits, once you apply them to your lifestyle, it is game changing.
Okay, so up first, this is something that you want to do in the morning every day before you drink your coffee.
And we have nothing against coffee, and in fact, we think that coffee has many health benefits, as
The
is
research
proven
shows
in the
it.
science. But on top of that, what we found is that when you actually drink coffee, and what the research shows is that it can lower over time your body's ability to make its own energy. So again, we have nothing against it, but when you drink 16 to 24 ounces of water immediately when you wake up, it's like a spark plug for every single cell in your body. This means it's going to get your digestion moving more efficiently, your metabolism going and much more efficiently. You'll be flushing out constipation, flushing out toxins from your body, and you'll be fighting cravings and hunger.
And you want to do this before the coffee. That's the point. But it's amazing because a lot of people in the morning, they get dehydration headaches because our bodies are 60 to 70% water. Overnight, you perspire, you breathe, you lose some water when you breathe, you might have to urinate. All of these things bring you down and put you into a mild dehydration, which is fine, but this is why you might get some dehydration headaches that might derail you from going to the gym. Most people feel hungry in the morning, but often they're confusing thirst for hunger because the brain cannot determine between the two.
And we will say this is one of the habits, like we did not have the best habits in high school by any stretch of the imagination, but this is one of the habits that we started early. And it was amazing for us. And I will say, Tammy's taken it to an extreme, and don't travel with her, because if you do, every time we travel, I said it. Every time we travel, we go, well, if we stay in a hotel, we always go and stop and get water first from a supermarket and vegetables or whatever we can take. So Tammy, because she likes to get a workout as we do it, she carries both big baskets in her hand, the shopping cart basket. She loads about 3 gallons or 4 gallons of water into her basket.
And I don't let her have any.
None. And I'm like, oh, good, okay, we only need tomorrow morning, because it's not like we're going to take that anywhere else. We're just going to need it for tomorrow morning.
I'm so embarrassed.
She goes like this, get your own. And I said, I always say, you need that all? She goes, you know I need it all for me. It's true. I don't mean to sell her out, but I kind of need to sell her out. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
So anyway,
that's only partially true because I only get like 2 gallons.
Anyway, she way overdoes it. We'll move on to the next thing. So that is so important. And this because it works. That's why we do it, okay? That's why we do it. She's a little obsessive and a little extreme.
So
and a little
drink your 16 to 24 ounces of water before the coffee.
Immediately.
I keep the water by my bedside. Not for you.
Definitely. She's not sharing her water. So number 2, if you've ever wondered, should you eat breakfast for long-term weight loss? What do you think? Should you eat breakfast?
She's trying to test me. I know this. The answer is a yes and no, and the research is very interesting on this
shows
one.
Both things. So the research shows that yes, you can lose weight more easily if you make eating breakfast a lifestyle habit. It also shows that if you push back that first meal, that you eat fewer calories later in the day and you lose weight more that way. So what gives? What is the deal? Okay, this is where individuality comes into play, and we will help you to know whether you are that person that should eat breakfast or if you're that person that should push it back a bit. But the research also shows that what that first meal includes is what's key. So you got to make sure, first and foremost, your first meal is including 2 very important components.
Component number 1, 20 grams of protein at the meal. So whether that meal is first thing in the morning or whether we're going to have you determine later whether you're okay pushing it back, 20 grams of protein plus wholesome, fibersome carbohydrates.
Fibersome.
I made up a word.
It's fiber-filled carbohydrates.
I'm adding it to my dictionary.
And here's the thing. So many people for breakfast, they'll have like a Danish and coffee, and thing about this is it is the worst thing ever for belly fat, because what happens is when we have something like a Danish or a sugar-filled carbohydrate, it spikes not only our insulin but our cortisol. And cortisol is like, it's stressing our body out. It's giving us a blood sugar high and low, and it's causing stress. And that cortisol is linked to belly fat. And it in the meantime, as it's doing that, because it's stressing the body, it's causing our blood sugar to go all over the place, it is also not making you feel hungry for very long, full for very long. It's leaving you hungry. And then you go and you reach for snacks sooner, you spike your insulin, and that shuts off fat burning, and you have to keep going back for more and more snacks. And so the best thing to do is make sure you have that 20 grams of protein at your first meal. It is critical for fat loss. So make sure you get that. And for different people, it's like eggs, it could be yogurt, it's a protein powder. There's
Greek yogurt has a little bit more. There's if you're vegan or vegetarian, there's the protein powders that aren't whey-based, that are plant-based.
It's going to stabilize your blood sugar, but you don't want to just have that protein on your own, and you will be in trouble. One, you'll have trouble using the bathroom and staying regular. But two, it really is so important to have at least a half cup of a wholesome high fiber carbohydrate, like oatmeal, like 4-ounce sweet potato. That's your energy, and that's going to prevent cravings. That would also, because if you get those cravings and you get those blood sugar where you need more, like a quick snack, again, that shuts off that fat burning. You want a satisfying meal that keeps your blood sugar stable, that's not going to cause you to have stresses on the body, that's releasing that cortisol, which is that belly fat burning hormone.
Okay. So how do you know if you're that person who should eat breakfast right when you wake up, or if you're okay pushing it back? So here's what you should ask yourself. If you wait a little bit of time to eat your breakfast, say a couple of hours, and you can't focus on anything but that breakfast, and you eat that breakfast and then suddenly you're ready for more, and the breakfast doesn't do the trick for you, and you've lost focus,
and you lose your energy, and when you go to finally eat something, it's like you're ravenous and you just want more and more, then eating breakfast is for you. And we find this many times with our clients. They have to
have breakfast first thing.
Early in the day,
yeah,
versus having their first meal later. So we find many of our clients need to eat breakfast first thing in the day, especially our ones with PCOS, which is really important for blood sugar control. But if you're that person that is intermittent fasting, you
feel fine.
You're drinking water throughout the morning, you feel fine. You
have that focus.
You have plenty of energy. You eat your first meal and you're like, oh, I'm on with my day.
Fine.
Then waiting is totally fine for you, and it will be very beneficial for you for weight loss versus throwing in a breakfast that you don't really need.
And it's also beneficial there can be some good benefits for long-term health as well.
And okay, so on to the next habit that is part of the daily routine for the best weight loss, to lose the weight loss for good. And this habit, people that do this habit, they have exceptional results for long-term weight loss. And what it is they are able to eat foods or they're able to find ways to feel less hungry with less amount of food. And we're not saying that they starve themselves or they don't get their nutrients. In fact, they're choosing very satisfying foods that are full of nutrients. And the first thing is very easy, and it's just the water. It's the research have been really cool on this actually. 16.9 ounces of water, half hour before.
We're rounding up, guys. 17 ounces of water.
We are not going to make you count, or we hope you do not measure 16.9 ounces of water. 16.5 you accidentally do. If you do 17, it's all good. The research shows that young women who are overweight, who drink this much water.
This study was done on young women, so
yes.
this probably
it
applies to everyone.
Applies to everyone. We see with our clients, it for sure applies to everyone, like undoubtedly. Drinking it a half hour before your meal helps to really reduce body weight. And there's many reasons for it. Once again, like we said, it makes your metabolism work better, but it's also because you're filling up your body.
It takes an edge off hunger.
You're being more rational. And many times we mistake our hunger for thirst. Okay, so the other thing is something that to make yourself feel more full on less food is something that we used to think was like totally like, oh, whatever. I hope
we did not We did not believe in it.
We did not really buy it. It's called deep breathing, and you've probably heard it. And don't run anywhere because we're going to tell you why it's so helpful. And like we said, like this was not our thing at all. We kind of like threw this one out the window. But the deep breathing, before we have you try it, what it does is it takes your body out of that stressful mode that we're in.
That fight or flight mode where the adrenaline's high, and it brings you into what's called that parasympathetic nervous system mode, or the
rest and digest mode. And we're going to tell you why that's so important, especially for belly fat. But when you are in that stress mode, which most of us are on a daily basis, like we have such stressful lives going on, when we eat our food, our body has already said it's not rest and digest. I got to run from a tiger, so it shuts off digestion. Now our bodies get very good at absorbing calories, but not the nutrients that we need for metabolism. So that's happening, and you get indigestion because your body has shut off digestion. This means that food that's not getting digested well is not only causing gas and all that other stuff, but it's causing inflammation in your stomach, and that inflammation is linked to obesity and overweight.
Research shows that chronic inflammation makes it harder to lose weight and easier to gain weight. So it's kind of like that double-edged sword. So anytime you can get that inflammation down, it's so helpful and so important.
And many of us eat that way all the time. So we're absorbing these calories. We're not getting the nutrients that we need because our body is unable to break it down. So we're not fueling our metabolism, and we can actually end up overweight and malnourished. So when we do this deep breathing, it prevents that from happening. It also prevents that stress, the stressful mode. We got to get rid of that cortisol that's being released when we're stressed, that's the belly fat hormone. So it takes us out of that phase, and instead we are in that rest and digest. Cortisol goes by the wayside, and we can digest our food, absorb the nutrients, and just
lose weight.
For good.
It goes all together.
It goes all together. So this is such an important thing. And like we said, we used to not do this. And I do this 3 minutes a day before my dinner meal. And I have to tell you, for my clients, for us, it has been game changing. Now, we're going to take you through a set of it. And if you can do this, I do this at night too. Before I go to bed, I put my legs up on the wall, my butt right against the wall, because it's really good for your adrenals to get rid of the cortisol before you
And
go
I'm
to bed.
laughing because right before this, she's like, Tammy, you are way too stressed out. She's like, come sit on the couch.
And
then
do
she's
it the
like,
way I said. You have to do it the way that I do it. So I put one hand underneath my armpit, and
I didn't find that so comfortable.
She didn't think it was comfortable. One on the belly, because the belly needs...
The belly's the key though, because the way you breathe, you have to make sure
that your belly's expanding. And what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in through your nose like you're smelling apple pie. Then you hold it in your lungs
I don't
for
know about
count
apple
of
pie,
4.
but luckily for you, it's
breathe-
not garlic either.
Apple pie.
She used my hair product, so it's a little flowery.
So you're gonna breathe in through your nose, like apple pie or flowers. Hold it, and you're holding it. You're breathing in for a count of 3. You're holding it in your lungs,
And
for
your
a
hand
count
on
of
your
4.
belly.
And then when you breathe out, your belly is going back in. And when you breathe out, you're like fogging up a mirror, like.
But the reason that your belly's going in when you breathe out is because the air is going
coming
out.
out.
And the reason you're putting your hand in your stomach is because you don't want it coming from your lungs. You actually want the belly breathing is what actually stimulates that parasympathetic relaxation nervous system.
And you want to make sure it's coming from the belly.
The belly.
So you're going to do, and honestly, 6 rounds of that. That's all it takes before a meal to bring you into rest or digest mode so that you can get rid of that cortisol, absorb your nutrients, eat, and it slows you down so you feel more full with fewer calories. And that is one of the best secrets for eating less food and filling up. And you won't believe it until you try it, but it is magical.
It works.
It's so good. So we have so many more things to share. Okay, well, we're gonna share one more, a few more, and then we'll have to add some more next time. So one thing that's very helpful in the daily routine to lose weight for good is including little bits of anti-inflammatory lifestyle steps in your daily routine.
And what's behind this is that we're talking about lowering that inflammation. Remember, we said that chronic inflammation is what makes it harder to lose weight and easier to gain weight. So if you can get that inflammation down, it's going to be a lot easier to lose weight. And a lot of, we're really seeing this in real life situations all of the time where our clients are doing everything right but they're really inflamed, and that's just because there's so many toxins in the environment and everything else. But once we can get them having enough antioxidants, antioxidant-rich foods, and they can flush some of that inflammation, they have
lower their cortisol. Remember,
lower the cortisol. That's the belly fat hormone.
That's the belly fat hormone. That's a huge piece. So once they do that, they really see good results. So little anti-inflammatory things to do in your lifestyle. For instance, maybe you're going to add a little bit of ginger to a drink or to some of your food, and that's not only anti-inflammatory, but that calms the digestive tract. And remember, when things are in the digestive tract and it's not getting digested, it's causing inflammation, and that stresses the body, and then that causes cortisol. So it's a vicious cycle. It really is. So that's one thing that you can do. You can also, berries are favorite.
On your oatmeal, in your Greek yogurt, in your smoothies, and even though it's you can do that any time of year, because you can buy the frozen ones and just throw them into your smoothies because they're so packed with antioxidants.
And they contain a nutrient called C3G, which is helps to shut down any inflammation and increase fat burning and metabolism.
It's really cool. It increases it increases satiety and decreases your hunger hormones. So
it's really good. So berries are another one.
Yeah.
And then what's another? Let's say turmeric,
green tea.
Those are great little antioxidant ways to improve your fat burning capability.
And really, anytime that you're having a fruit or vegetable, you're going to help lower inflammation.
Yeah, and if you're someone right now that's waking up in the morning, you're like, I cannot fit in my clothes, the weight loss is just not coming, I'm so frustrated, you do not need to struggle. You do not. Life is too short for that. Let's tell them about Kelly. Okay. So Kelly, one of our clients, she came to us and she was like, you have no idea. I read every single magazine article out there, all the online stuff. I know everything about nutrition. She said, that's actually how I found you guys. I found your recommendations in these articles. She said, when she came to us, she was like, I honestly think I can't lose weight anymore. This is getting so depressing. I've tried every diet. She said, when I have tried intermittent fasting, keto, she's like, I don't think I can lose weight anymore, and I don't even recognize myself in the mirror. But the thing was, she actually was losing weight, but she would only lose it temporarily. So she would do the intermittent fasting, and then she'd want to go out to dinner with friends, and it wasn't an intermittent fasting.
Not realistic
time.
For her.
Not realistic. And we was like, Kelly, of course you can lose weight. You are losing weight. You're just trying to fit your lifestyle into a cookie cutter diet. And that diet doesn't care what your hormones are. It doesn't care if you want to go out to dinner with your friends. It's not made for you. So what we did was we gave her a lot of things. We started with where she is now. And so, for instance, what she was already eating in her lifestyle, her hormones. And we looked at all that. And we took some of these very habits that we've talked about today, and we worked them into her lifestyle. She started drinking the water immediately when she'd wake up, and she would still have coffee. She still have her coffee. Nothing wrong with that. But then we also had her doing things like adding the breathing in, as well as doing other things that made her life very anti-inflammatory. And within 15 months, within 3 months, she lost 15 pounds. And it's 7 months later, she's lost 30 pounds. It's actually 9 months later now, but she's kept the 30 pounds off. And she said, I cannot believe how easy it was. She's like, and here I was, literally, we think about it all the time. Here she was, she thought she was someone that could not lose weight. In the meantime, of course she can. She was trying to get her life into a cookie cutter diet. And that's why, with the breakfast, she's actually needs breakfast. She's one of those people that needed breakfast.
She took our test and needed the breakfast.
And we found out she definitely just is someone that needs breakfast. And she went soaring. And that was something she was not doing all along. That was not helpful for her, she didn't think. But skipping it was really ending up spiking her cortisol and causing the belly fat. So that was really helpful. But if you're struggling like Kelly was or anyone else, you don't need to struggle. There's so much mental space that's taken over a world with stressful stuff. Don't let eating or your diet be one of them. There's so much that you can do. And if you want, we're offering a free discovery call where we'll sit down, have a talk with you, really get a good understanding of what's going on for you, and see how we could best help you with our one-on-one counseling. And we'd love to do that. So if you are interested in that free call, just go to our website, nutritiontwins.com, and then under work with us, under one-on-one counseling, there'll be something about chat. Just set up the chat, and we'd love to talk to you. You do not need to struggle.
No.
Yeah, and thank you so much for
thank you, and try those daily habits that we discussed today.
Yeah, those are really good. And even that one that we said we didn't think would work, the apple pie, the fogging the mirror, it works. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.